everybody, to our Media Lab session. This is the second to last session for this summer. I can't believe we're already at mid-July. If you've joined us before, you know how this works. We're going to go through Canva, which is the only tool we'll talk about today, and you'll get lots of time to explore and learn how to use it and hopefully build some things for yourself. I'm going to have Sarah go ahead and introduce herself, and then we'll move on. Say hi, Sarah.
All right. Hi, everybody. I know a lot of you. I am a tech integration specialist in Billings and former Spanish special ed and digital literacy teacher. And I'm going to start my 5th year in this job, which is crazy to me. So,
yeah.
So excited to be able to share Canva with you all.
Time flies.
It does. So if you'll Canva, this is going to be, if you've taken trainings from me before, I like to give lots of time for you guys to play. And this will be no different. It's going to be a bit of a fire hose, but I really want to help you guys get set up in the best possible way for Canva. It's taken a lot of just kind of trial and error, because as we were trying to navigate getting Canva to sign a DPA, and they did sign a DPA for us, but then we were waiting for our legal team to approve it. So the last couple weeks of school, they did approve it. And so then we jumped in quickly to start trying it with students. So that side of things is I don't want to say shaky, but it can be done. And I have examples of that. Chris Cayley and I did some things, and I did some stuff over at where Kim is at Broadwater Elementary. So I'll show you some examples there. Canva is a tool that is a rabbit hole. You have heard me talk about rabbit holes many times, and sometimes the way that my brain works, it can be far too overwhelming, and I just think, well, how would I ever use this? So I'm going to show you some examples of how I've used this, teacher side, and then we're going to talk about how we could do things with the student side. But I really want to help you get set up with your Canva for Education account. That's super important because Canva is an expensive program, but it's free to all teachers. So if you don't know what Canva is, it's a graphic design tool. All of your social media influencers use Canva to create everything: presentations, posters, videos, logos. I know we have Nicole on here, and Nicole has her own food truck, and she uses Canva to create all of that, which Nicole, I really want you to share with everybody because I think that's amazing. So here are some examples. So you can make a nice little email signature. I made this in maybe 5 minutes. Google Classroom banners. This one's pretty simple, but I'm actually going to show you how you can make them animated. If you've taken a class from me before on how to create Google Classroom banners or Google Sites banners, you're going to just die when you see how easy this is. Way easier than I've shown you in the past. Loving the newsletters. So these are all templates. The thing about Canva is they provide some amazing things for you, and all you have to do, if you just want it to be really easy, you plug the information in. You can change anything on there you want. You can change the colors. But I remember trying to create a newsletter and trying to create something like this in Google Drawings or Slides. And it was just maddening because you need, like, I tried to make sure it looked even and everything was straight. And now Canva has it all for us, already done. Some infographics. This is one, and there's actually a link to this. This is one that I created, and I'm going to send out. We're going to start using this in classrooms on how to send an email to your teachers. And so let me see. Here's what's really neat about Canva. I can share this out with people, the link, and then they can go ahead and look at this, and then they can make a copy of it themselves if they want, or make changes on it. Very similar to Google. So on here, it just kind of has the breakdown of this, of how to send an email. I thought this would be really nice, especially for like 4th and 5th graders to have it printed out and maybe just on their desk, or pop it in Google Classroom so that students know. I'm a huge proponent of teaching kids this skill. Just awards. We have Chris Cayley joining us today. And so this is where Chris graduated from Tilt. And so I made this in Canva really quick, printed them off and sent them out. And then you can also send them digitally, which is nice. Anchor charts, love that. There's lesson plan templates. There's also like organizers. And I thought, because a lot of middle schools are not using paper planners anymore. And I was thinking this would be a really great thing for kids to have on their own, tracking what work they need to get done. So there's some great templates, and you as a teacher can create one and send it out to your students and they can edit it. So that's what's super nice about this. Again, like I said, Canva is free for Canva for Education. And just because it's for education doesn't mean you won't have access to all of the other things that Canva has. But it's really important that when you sign up, so here's kind of the link to it. And we're going to explore quite a bit here. So what it has you do is you get verified. They want to just make sure that you really are a teacher affiliated with education. And so when I did it, all I had to do is take a picture of my badge that I wear every day at school. It depends on your email address. If it has like edu at the end, it's going to automatically recognize that you're a school. I signed up for so long ago. I'm not really sure if it's changed. So it'll be interesting to see if some of you can sign up for education with like your school name in your domain there. So anyway, it's so nice because we then have access to all of this stuff for free, and it's mind-blowing to me. You could literally change your classroom banner in 2 minutes. You could come up with a worksheet for your students very quickly. So Canva is, and this is where I talk about the rabbit hole, they provide an abundance of resources and information. And so it can be overwhelming. So that's why I say start small, baby steps with yourself. Like, oh, I'm going to create an email signature, or I'm going to change my classroom banner, and then go from there. But there's some great information here in the teacher resources. The community is really great too, because there's lots of teachers that have amazing ideas and they share them. I have nothing against teachers pay teachers, but I believe teachers are amazing, and I love that we share things for free with each other, and Canva is an example of that. So when we sign up, I'm going to have everybody sign up that way. I have put under here some resources. So the Merrills are a husband and wife team of teachers. They are classroom teachers in Florida, and they do lots of professional development and things like that. And so this is a link to their blog of 10 ways teachers can use Canva in the classroom. And then the other link, I just realized I didn't link it. There's one that's 20 ways for students to use Canva in the classroom. And what's nice about the Merrills here is that they have a link to all of these things here. So let's say we're going to create an email signature. It'll pop it down and it gives you a little tutorial on how to do it. And then they also have templates for you. So those are resources for you to explore in a bit. So I'm going to dive into Canva real quick here. Do we have any questions? Let me look. Nope. All right. So when you sign in, you're just going to sign in with Google, because that's what our email is affiliated with. Now, obviously, I have an educator account, and I'm going to show you how to check to see that you do. So the very first thing that Canva does is it pops you in here and it just creates a class for you based on your email address. So you can see over here, it says RC for Rainey's class. And you can see that this little thing here, that there's one person in it, that's just me. I also know that I have the educator plan because it says education under here. When I click on the arrow here, I have other teams here. So Billings Public Schools, we had signed up everybody last year, but I don't believe everybody signed in. So you might be already affiliated with us here. You might not, and that's okay if you aren't. And then these are classrooms that I created. You can see that there's 21 students in each. Right now, because I'm in Rainey's class, I can go down here and say, okay, this is where I am. So any work that I've done is going to show up in classwork. where if I switch to, let's go to Callahan's class. I know there's 21 students in here, and now I can go to classwork. These are assignments that students have done. This is what's nice, and I need to approve these still. So I can go in here, like this will tell me if they need approved or need review. So what I like about this from a student or from a teacher standpoint is students can submit this stuff and you then can review those for them. So let's see what Vance did. All right, so I could review it. I'd probably tell Vance, you probably should title this because you didn't have a title on it. This was just playing around with it though, so that would be nothing huge in there. What's really nice though is, let's say you had a school as a team. Okay, so we think of these in terms of classes, but they're also teams. So when I go to Billings Public Schools here, I can go to our work. There's nothing in here right now. What we can do is we can send out and create templates here. So I'm going to put that email template in here. And if you're part of the Billings Public Schools group, then that email, how to email your teacher template is here and you can use it. You'll just make it, you can either view it or you can make a copy of it and make changes that you want to it. So that's what's really nice about this. The other thing that's amazing is you can say that, see, this says Billings Public Schools. There can be folders here. These are the templates. This is where my email template's gonna go. It's not showing up here. All right, so because I'm sitting here in Billings Public Schools and I go down to brand kit, what we have done is we have gotten the color palette for all of Billings Public Schools logo. We have the color palette for the middle schools right here. So you can have those things already set. It's a little fancy, but I would imagine like Nicole, who has her own business outside of school, that she probably has this sitting there. So, all right, I'm gonna show you a few things here. This is not intuitive. This is the most asked question that I get from teachers on here. And it's, how do I add a new class? So say I teach middle school and I have 6 classes and I want a different class for each. You're gonna go to the settings cog here, account settings. And you're gonna go down to your groups. All right, you can see I have all these different groups here. I don't want a group. Nope, I do. Real quick though, do you see where it says Billings and Teams or Billing and Teams? This right here is how I know I have Canva for education and I'm not paying a thing for it. So this is where you would check to see that if you have like the education plan. So under Teams here, I say create a new class. Again, see, this isn't intuitive. I don't think it's kind of hidden. I did talk to the Canva people when I was at ISTE, and they did tell me that there's a whole new way that they're going to be doing this, and it's going to be rolled out in August, and it's going to be easier. So that makes me feel a little bit better. All right, so let's say I'm going to do a class, and I'll just say like first period Spanish, and I'm going to create a new class. All right, so now I can see that that's what I'm sitting in right here, first period Spanish. And I don't have any students in there yet. So I go into the class and I'm gonna go to people. Now this is what I can do, and this is what's so nice. I can import this class from Google Classroom. So all of these kids, whatever classroom I have, I don't wanna mess it up for anybody in any of my other classes, but you would choose your classroom here and it would import all of those students over to Canva. So then once those students, basically they'll get kind of there'll be something that shows up in Google Classroom, they click on it, and once they say, yes, I wanna be in Mrs. So-and-so's class, then you'd start seeing the number of students change and you'd see all your students right here. So that's super nice. You could also just get an invite link and have that in Google Classroom. What's nice about that is if you have new students that are joining, we know how the beginning of the year is. This is good because you could just have this say in Google Classroom, and as new kids come in, just have them click the link and join. So it's up to you how you want to do that. All right, let's just go ahead and start creating something. I want to give you some time to create too. First of all, any questions? You all are quiet. And I know most of you outside of school, and I know you're not quiet. All right, there we go.
I'll ask Sarah.
Yeah.
So how under your name on the left side menu,
Yep.
if you're signed in, if you have the teacher account, how does that show up again?
It should say education under there.
Okay. And if it doesn't, should you sign back in again?
Yep, we'll walk through that. I think what we'll end up doing, actually, if you have an account and it's not under education, I can take your name and I'll just send it to them.
Okay.
Too. Sometimes it's hard when somebody's signed up before and it's not an education account, and then they're trying to switch over to it. And so if that's the case, I'll just send them an email and we'll get everybody switched over. All right. Okay, so because we're in education, all the stuff is going to look more education, but it doesn't mean that you can't use the other stuff. So at the top, you can see there's design spotlights. So these are all your social media things. We're not going to worry too much about business, but under education, we have all of these different kind of resources here. So the free teacher resources is great. If you have some time and you're like, I wonder how I could do this, this is where you're going to go. Under the learn, this is how I nerd out, you guys. So there's a design school, and this will actually take you. So if there's anybody here who teaches digital literacy, I'm thinking this would be great for the middle school. Anyway, design school will actually walk you through how, like, advertising, creating videos, and so on. So there's Canva for teachers. So this is going to walk you through how to use that. You don't have to. If you're like me, I'm more of I'm just going to jump in and play with it. So, all right. So just remember, I'm in my first period Spanish class. So that means that everything I create is just going to sit here. Sometimes I confuse myself because I create it in the wrong spot. It doesn't matter where I've created it. I can still use it anywhere, but if I can't find it, check your other classes. So when I go up here to create a design, it gives me these suggestions here. So let's start with something easy. I'm going to do Google Classroom header. So that's the banner. And if you notice, it has the dimension here in pixels. It's a little different, but it works perfectly than what I've normally taught people. So I'm going to click on that, and here it pops open. I don't have to adjust the size at all. And I can make one for each of my classes. It's going to look almost like Google Slides. So let's go over here and just see what they have. They have some really cute ones. What I love about it is that they, like, the colors all go together, the fonts work together. Let's go with the Care Bear theme. All right. That's crazy. All right. So just because I want this template doesn't mean I can change, or it doesn't mean I can't fix it and make it mine. So I can change this to where it says Miss Barlow's class. Come on. Now it's going to make a liar of me. I'm just going to say welcome. Let's say I don't want this background to be blue. I can just click on the blue and I can change it to whatever color I want. All right, say I want that. Now we have this super fun thing that says animate. That means I can make anything on here do what I want it to. Like, I can make it animate. So let's say I want my welcome to animate. So I click on it, and then I'm going to click on animate. And now I can look at, okay, do I want it to come up, over, fade? Oh yeah, I want the burst. All right. So I have that going. Maybe I want this guy to be animated. Oh, there we go. All right. So this thing. No, I want it to change. This one's tricky. I don't know why it's not letting me change that. Oh well. Say it says Mrs. Rainey's class. Here's what we're gonna do. I have animated this. So the next thing, and I could animate anything. I can animate these stars, words, any of the pictures, but for time, I'm just gonna kind of show you. And now let's say I need to download this because I want to put it in Google Classroom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to share, and I have lots of options here. So one thing that's really nice about this is that I could share something directly to Google Classroom. So let's say I created an infographic and I want my students to see it. I can boom, just share it right here. But in this case, I'm going to actually change the settings of the banner. So I'm going to say download. Another thing too is, let's say I wanted to share this with Angie, who's in here today. I could share it with Angie. So like I could add Angie right here. Or if I wanted anybody with the link, and I can say, yep, they can edit it, they can watch it, or they can comment. So what's nice about this is if you were going to create a logo or some kind of design, and I wanted some feedback from somebody, this is how I can do it. All right, so I'm going to download this. Now here's where it gets kind of weird. Because this is animated, it doesn't look animated, but it is. I'm gonna go down. It says that it should be a video, but I don't want it to be a video. I want it to be a GIF. So I select GIF, and I'm downloading. And if you notice, it named it Welcome Back, which is what it set up here. I should have renamed it. I always like to name them like Banner 1 or whatever. All right, so it's downloading. Now I'm going to open up Google Classroom. My computer's working real hard right now. It's like, what is happening? All right. Hey, Chris, this is your class. So I'm just going to change the banner. All right. So I know that this is downloaded here. And now I'm going to go to Chris's banner here, and I'm going to say customize. I'm going to upload because I downloaded the GIF. So now I'm going to upload it onto my computer. Select it from my computer. And it's the last thing I added on there. Come on. There we go. Stretch it out. Come on. There we go. All right. Select class theme. Come on. There we go. Save. So now there's the new banner. Super easy. A bit of a rabbit hole because it's kind of fun to do all this stuff. And again, this is just saved. So if I wanted to do like welcome back to school banners, I can just add another page. So I just added a page, and because that background was green, it put that there. But I could also duplicate this. So the same thing is here, and I could put first period, second period, or whatever I need there. So anyway, those are right there. Questions, comments, thoughts? Way easier than the other way I showed you. Anybody? Questions that I get sometimes, can you add outside images? Yep, you sure can. I could add my Bitmoji and animate her here. If you don't like any of these, you could start from scratch and come up with your own. What I love about all of these is that they've been designed by people who are in, you know, marketing and things. So they know what's going to look nice. They have the colors that look nice. So let's say I'm going to use this. What's really nice about this is when I click over here, I have these colors automatically there. I'm not having to check and say, oh, is this the right color? Is it not? Did I match it up right? I don't have to worry about that. I can flip things. So up here, if I wanted this guy go in a different direction, I can flip that way or flip horizontally. That's super nice with this. Text-wise, you have all these different text options. You also just have a text box where you have tons of fonts that you can choose. Logos won't be here, but if I was in the Billings Public Schools team page, all of the BPS logos and colors would show up here. Under more, again, you can put in audio, videos, emojis. It integrates with Pixton, Google Maps. Like all of the integrations are actually insane. And so I would say for you as a teacher, you're probably not going to use a lot of these. Your students may use some, but it's really fun if we wanted to add a funny GIF here. Say we wanted that guy dancing on our thing, right? So, I mean, you could do things like that for your Google Classroom. All right. We good? No questions? Because I have way more. All right, here we go. Create another design.
Wait,
In this case,
give us time to play on this for a second. Or are you scheduling that?
Oh, I have it. At the end, I'm going to let you work on anything you want.
Okay, never mind then.
Okay. Resumes, classroom announcement. Okay, these are the classroom newsletters I was showing you, or I showed you some examples of. They have them that are elementary, all the way up to fancier ones if you do like a school newspaper or something. And again, you can change anything you want on here. So let's say I was going to use this. Oh, it's being slow. Okay, so where I have this background color, that's what comes with it. I can choose the color. I can change any color that I want. Sometimes, I'll show you this one. Let's go back. This was my email signature that I showed you all. It's right here somewhere. Where is that? Email signature. Did I skip it? Oh, I skipped it, but that's okay because I'm going to type it in. Email signature. So it gives me the correct size for an email signature. And then it provides that size right there. And then this is what I used. So let's say, I'll find the exact one I used because, oh, okay. So this is the one that I used. And if you notice, mine wasn't pink because I'm not really a pink kind of gal. So what I did was I clicked on this and I chose a color. So okay, say I want that. And if you notice down here, it says change all. So it's saying like, you want to change this color here, but that color is also here. Do you want to change that? Now I'm going to say yes. So now what it did is it changed everything to be in that same color scheme. I can do the same with the font. I can change the fonts. There's a bazillion fonts here. Effect wise with your words. And then I could animate this, but I don't really see a need for that. Something that's really cool though, and I'll show you this. So say this is a picture of me, I wish. If you notice over here, we have some options, edit image. So I'm going to say edit image. This has a built-in background remover. So let's say I just wanted an outline of this person and not that background. So I have this picture clicked and I'm going to click over here and it is going to remove the background. Slowly. There you go. So you can do this with anything. You can do this with pictures you find online that you can reuse. You can do this with student pictures. It's super funny with animals and things like that. So that's a really kind of fun feature that this has. All right, question. It would be good for my syllabus. Yeah. I mean, you can seriously use this for everything. All right. Let's go back. I have a million of these things, but that's okay. I am going to give you lots of time to play. And I know in the time that you have to play, you're going to have lots of questions. My whole goal in any kind of training I do is that I want you to have something that you can take and use right away. So that could be coming up with a presentation for your classroom rules. And I'll show you the presentations here. It could be an infographic. It could be just a Google Classroom header. It could be a seating chart. So if you notice down here, there is, oh, there's the email signature. I knew it was down there. There's mind maps, all this stuff. Did I lose the seating chart? I'll tell you. Seating chart. All right. So obviously you can set this up how you want. These are more like wedding seating charts and such, but you could set it up in here. Those are a little fancy for me. Let's say no to those. Worksheets, lesson plans, class schedule. That's what I was going to look for students. I'm going to start playing around with that to see if that would be a good thing for them. I do like the mind maps that are already done here. So you have something like this that's already taken care of, like word families. And again, remember, you can change any of the things that are on here. That's what's so nice. So they give you the idea, which is always what I need. I always need an idea, and then I think, okay, this is how I can use it. And so there's a couple ways you could use this. You could download this, or you can just send it straight out to Google Classroom. Another question I get often is people say like, well, I have this worksheet, but I don't know. You can see I've Canva open a million times, but I want to make changes on it. Canva is so slick, you guys. I'm going to show you something awesome. So we're going to create a design, but instead we're going to import a file. So let's say you have a PDF sitting on your computer and you're like, I really like this, but I need to do something with it, or I want to change it. And we don't really have the ability to do that. I'm going to try and find a PDF here. Do I not have PDFs in here? All right, this is from a breakout, so I'll just grab this. So where did it go? There we go. Well, that was boring because that was nothing on here. Sorry, guys. That was a lame one. All right. Let's just search for a PDF. All right. Now, I'm not telling you to do this. This is not condoning editing OPI forms, but this is an example of if you had something in PDF form, how you then could edit it. So it's the only PDF I can really use today. So say this is my PDF. It could be a worksheet. It could be something like that. What I can do, all right, is I can change things on here. I can go in and I can edit it. I can, if I have something I want to remove, I can remove it. This is a kind of a big thing here. I think it's a huge deal because this is a bad example because this is more of a picture of a PDF. But again, if you have a worksheet or if you found something online, it was only in PDF form, we know that kids can't work on that in Google Classroom. You can go ahead and make changes in here, and that will definitely be beneficial to you. So questions, I see we have a couple questions. So if you animate something, remember you're downloading it as a GIF. So it's not like an assignment that students can use. That would just be like an informational thing that you could, like, say you had, I don't know, let's say you had like a little poster and you had an animation on it and you wanted that in Google Classroom, you could add that. And then they would see the animation there, but it's not like they could do anything like work on it because that's not, it's a different type of file, I guess. Can you import a doc and make changes? Well, I'm not really sure. Let's try it. I'm going to try it in our work time. One last thing I want to show you because I'm a total nerd here. Oh, Canva, where do you go? In the bottom somewhere is one of my favorite tools here. Design Spotlight, maybe it's in here. Just gonna go here, see what happened. All right. Well, I can't find it. It's kind of in the design school, and there is a way that you can see what goes well together. So it will give you ideas of fonts that go well together, color schemes that work well together. I'll show you where it is when I can find it here in a bit. The last thing though, real quick, is the education presentation. I know we do slides with students all the time. So there's the education presentation and educational videos. Let me go ahead and show you how one of these presentations looks. They're just a little bit more rich and engaging for kids. Okay, this is one that I went to. So if you notice this, I'm opening it up. This is when I was at ISTE and they did everything in Canva. The way he set this up is that I could share this with somebody or I can make a copy of it and then I can edit it if I want. So his presentation, do you see how he has animated everything, or both of them have animated everything? Little bit more engaging. Mm-hmm. You can also, if you create an educational video, what's nice about Canva is the images that you're uploading from Canva. So say, not uploading, but that they provide for you are all free for you and your students to use. So you're not going to have to worry about them. If they're searching for those things within the tool, it's safe for them to use. They also have music though, which I love, again, all free to use. And so you can add music in here as well. I think is like a little intro and welcoming your students and introducing yourself. This could be really fun to play around with. My son had to do a project where he had to come up with a problem for his marketing class and then he had to solve it. And so he had this whole video of our little Yorkie trying to jump up on the bed and couldn't. And then he got these little doggy stairs and had the dog go up on there. So he just made it all in Canva and had music behind it. And then you can add, I mean, obviously animate things. So questions, but I do want to give you loads of time to practice because this, as I said, is a rabbit hole and I don't want to short you on time. Question, let's see. Yes, students have access to all of it. So Chris and I had to learn the hard way because we were struggling in trying to figure out how to get students added. So the quickest and easiest way is either that link in Google Classroom or just importing your class in Classroom. So those are the two ways we figured it out. But you want to make sure that you're in the education. So if you don't have education right here, then you're not going to be able to add students. So we want to make sure we get you into that for education. If you don't see yourself using this with students, you can just go ahead and use, I mean, the free version, but you're missing out on all these, you know, all the free fun stuff here too. So Canva also allows you to download, and they will print them for you too. But it's kind of fun because you could create, I use this for personal stuff all the time. So if I wanted to create a Christmas card, I can create that here. Let's see, Christmas card. And it's already done, but the beauty of it is you have the ability to add anything you want here. So let's say I wanted this. And so I'm going to go to elements. These are shapes, these are animations I can add, which if I'm printing off a Christmas card, I'm not going to have it animated. But if I type in picture frame, I don't think that's what I wanted. Okay, anytime you see this, it's going to put a picture in, and it's going to crop your picture in that shape. So let's say I wanted this. Here. Now, let's say I have a photo. Let's say these are my kids. Come on, you're supposed to, no. Don't you love it when you do stuff like that? It's not letting me do it. Wrong example. Anyway, it's supposed to. The students and I figured that out. So if you find something, picture frames, let's do circle. It should let you then drop that picture and it will crop it in that shape. But I need to look and see what how we searched for it, because of course the kids figured it out before me. They figure everything out. So anyway, I'm going to give you time to play and create your account. Again, if you're, I mean, you could do this for anything, any kind of announcement. I know at Kim at Broadwater, I showed the 5th grade teachers and students this, and then anytime I saw an email come out, like the 5th grade teacher, one of them was so into it, she's sending out like the invitation for the end of the year party that she made in Canva, and you can use it for everything.
We don't have to try to be graphic designers anymore.
I know. See, that's what I love. Like, I'm creative, but I'm not artistic.
No, me neither. I don't have an eye for design at all.
No. And so that's what's so nice is I can do this and be like, oh, dang. All right. That looks pretty good. I have also just used like a template in the background. So let's just say I did like a classroom poster, and then I changed the size a little bit. This is how I nerd out, you guys. I mean, those of you who know me, you know me, right? And I would make the size, like I'd be a little bit more intentional in knowing the size specifically, but let's say I just wanted a simple background. I could do like wood wall or something. Nope, that's not what I wanted. St. Patrick's Day, sure. If I wanted just like a simple background, look at this, Jamboard backgrounds. Okay, there's only a few, but I could choose like an abstract background. Or if I liked any of these, like say I like this. Now what I end up doing is I download this and then I just upload it as a background to my Jamboard. Or if I wanted a question on here from my Jamboard, I would just add a text box and put it on here, download it and put it in Jamboard. That way students aren't like switching stuff around and, you know, messing with the background, because I already have the background and the question set. So when I say the possibilities are endless, I mean like they're literally endless. And you know, I'm still learning. They're learning too as a company, because obviously they didn't start out in the education realm. And so again, they are coming up with an easier way for students to get into a class. So once I have that information, I'll kick it out, and hopefully it'll be easier. So let's go to the classroom ones. So anyway, you could do it as simple as just like a 4-panel, or you could do, you know, many. So those are options on here too. Let's go here. And then the students can edit any of these things on here. They can also add additional pages. So I think that's huge. I think it's good. A free tool that will give us lots of different things here. If you go to create a presentation, or even this, if you notice right here, I can click on videos and I can record myself right here. And click on that. And it's going to say, like, do you have your settings and all that? We're going to go back. But your video's right here, and then you can edit that video. You can crop it down and so on. So that is the rabbit hole.
There's a question about, can you show where you found the comic strips again?
Yep. All I did, let's go back here. When I went to create a design, I just searched for comic strips. All right, and then it just gave me all of these. Or look at, I love these. They're just blank. So the kids, they can do whatever they want with it. You can select obviously that background color. It's so, I just find it so simple and easy to work with. In terms of elements and things, there's really fun ones. So if I was going to use a comic strip, I could have like POW put in there. If we're working on, you know, depending on words or like vocabulary we're using. So anyway, we haven't gotten into a lot of this, but there's all of these things. This is what I was talking about, frames. All right, here's my frame. I'm gonna put it there. Now I'm gonna find photo. There, that's what I was talking about, frames. That's what you search for. So it will cut it into any of those. Not that I would use that on a comic strip, but I wanted you to see that. So, all right, we've had a few people share. Do you want me to share out, Nikki, or do you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, show us what people created so we can be inspired.
Well, look how fancy Angie is. Angie shared through Canva. I love that. Angie, oh, there you go, Angie. Angie teaches Empower, which is like family consumer science-ish. Love it. Perfect. Let's go to Kim. She did a book club poster.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Love it. And how easy and quick. That's what I love. It's like so easy. Whoops. I know that Nicole had some to share, but I think Nicole had to leave. Maybe?
You put up a really cool one while we were during work time, and I don't know if everyone caught it.
Me or her?
Somebody shared their screen, and it was like a Ryan Gosling meme kind of thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Like luscious desserts or something.
Oh, that's her. Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's Nicole. So yeah, Nicole has a dessert food truck. And so she makes all of her stuff. Yes, please share, Nicole. I love all your stuff that you do. All right. Anybody else have something to share? Or how many of you went down the rabbit hole and are like, oh my gosh? Lots of people, I bet.
I wonder how many graphic designers were put out of work when Canva went free for education.
Seriously. Seriously. Nicole, are you sharing through Canva or your screen, or how are you sharing?
I'm trying to share content, and it says you cannot start screen sharing while the other participant is sharing.
Well, here, let me stop. There we go. Now we all need to go find Nicole's food truck.
I'll be in Billings next week. I'll come find it next week.
Can you guys see my Canva screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in my Canva account. I think the Ryan Gosling one was a meme that I created the other day just to stay relevant after they did the Barbie stuff that came out. So that was just some pictures I pulled offline. It was like super simple. It took 2 seconds to do. I used a little special filter on this one. Can't make everyone happy or not luscious layers, trying to be funny, keeping relevant with social media. I do some templates here. I'm trying to think of one. If I can enter these ones. I don't know. I love Canva. I'm on Canva like every day, every other day, trying to keep different designs. So these are frames in the orange, blue, and pink. So I just inserted my pictures and then it took that frame of the circle. I put pictures in the background, so then they take the whole frame. I use the template, the size for the Instagram post is always the size of my backgrounds. So I don't know. These are just some of the, these are all template and things that I've done.
Love it.
I don't know if anyone has any questions. I can stop sharing now.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Such a fun example.
How about we share how to do the filter on the photos?
They don't do it till later. They were just sharing what people were working on during the break. No, it's none of my business. No. So anyway, still listen though, just in case. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So I got that appeals letter. They called me back and they're like, well, we need to talk to your doctor's office and they need to send a letter.
All right. Like, pictures. Here we go. This is kind of fun. I guess I'm just using this picture. Okay. So I could use this picture. It's fine. I showed you that I could remove the background, but I want to show you some other cool stuff that we can do here. You can go down and we can change the filter. So Nicole showed us how she had used like a different filter on something. You can have shadows with it. And then you have some of these super fun kind of effects down here. And so I want to show you an example of how we use this. Oops. On our website for Tracy, Shelley, and myself, Tracy used Canva to take out the background and then to use a filter on it to soften the lines or whatever. But this is kind of a fun thing to do. I really like some of these things. They're kind of fun. And you can always revert your picture back. But, you know, we see people post these things or put some of this out on social media. You can do it easily and quickly in Canva. Yeah, so there we go. Questions? Anybody? Where I was uploading or where I was adding those pictures, you can upload your own pictures. So if you had them on your computer, your kids or whatever, that's easy to do there. You just go ahead and upload that way. So, all right.
All right. Well, thanks, Sarah. I think hopefully everybody got to create something cool and definitely this is a great time of year to learn about Canva because if you are thinking about getting into your classroom in the next month or so and getting all the stuff for the walls and organization and elementary school teachers I've worked with love Canva because all the things they used to like either buy from Teachers Pay Teachers or custom write themselves, they could just go to Canva and all the supply bin little labels and locker labels and desk name tags and name tags you put on the kids. You can make all of those things with Canva super fast and free, which is the best part. I'm going to share my screen and I want to share about something brand new on PBS Learning Media that I'm really excited about. We just published a brand new collection last Friday about Evelyn Cameron, who is a Montana photographer. And this film about Evelyn Cameron has been out for, I want to say 6 to 7 years now. And it's one that we always played over our Learn at Home broadcast during COVID. And we repeat it quite a bit. And I always get comments about what a great Montana history story this is, especially it's about a woman, it's about an artist, it's got so many neat connections. And so we finally put together this collection of resources. And I can't take much of the credit for this because I have this amazing graduate student working for me this summer, Alec, and he created this. And he went through and watched the film a number of times. And he identified clips from the film and then created lessons and materials to go along with those clips. So we've got, talking about Evelyn Cameron and her life, what her life was like in England, and then how that differed from her life in Montana. So if you doing a compare and contrast lesson with students, I think one of the activities that comes of this is a great background activity about chores. And he did these really nice, just kind of one-page reading materials that students could read and that you could have small groups read, and just talking about how when Evelyn Cameron lived in England, she had servants and people who did chores for her. And she moved to Montana and suddenly started doing all kinds of manual labor and ranch work. And she preferred the manual labor of Montana life. And so an activity that gets kids talking about chores and their contribution to their household. So I thought that was a lot of fun, and what we hope will be many activities that teachers can use with their students. As you can see, we have several of them have the video clips and activities to go with them, but then we've got 3 media galleries, and each media gallery features her photographs with captions alongside them. I love this one that is photographs of children and talks about, the old time photography was a lot more cumbersome to take pictures. And even then it was so much harder to get good pictures of kids. It's hard for us now with iPhones and iPads to get kids to sit still for their pictures, but then imagine what it was like back in the day with some of the older technology. And so this is a collection of all of the pictures she took of children to just kind of compare and contrast with kids, how much harder it is to get a picture these days. So a really great collection. I hope you'll check it out. It's on PBS Learning Media. You can just search Evelyn Cameron when you go to the website, but I'll go ahead and put it in the chat box for you too, and you can explore it and let us know what you think. We'll have a couple more published by the end of this summer. Alex has been working really hard going through and through our backlist of films and creating a few more collections for some of those. So the next part is we have a special guest with us today. Any of you who were at earlier Media Labs, you may have won a copy of A Teacher's Guide to Online Learning. I know Lisa Fricks is here and she won it. I can't remember who else may have. We've given a copy away every week this summer. And I'm excited to introduce the author of that book, Lindy Hockenberry. I've invited her here to say hi and to just talk briefly about the book. We're going to give away 2 more copies this afternoon, but I thought it would be fun for you to meet Lindy and maybe even ask her questions about the book, and hopefully you'll get to have a copy show up in the mail for you. So take it away, Lindy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. I'm so excited to be here. I'm in Bozeman and it's a beautiful day, although I think we're supposed to be getting like crazy wind this afternoon. And I was out working on my deck and my umbrella almost took away my whole table on my deck. So I was like, okay, better put that down and move inside. Move inside for a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited. It sounds like a couple of you might have my book already, and one person at least today is going to win it. It's called The Teacher's Guide to Online Learning. I wrote it in response to the COVID school building shutdowns. At the time, there was like nothing about online learning in K-12, and my email was just flooded with responses from educators and questions and help, please for help. So I just kind of started writing. I didn't know how else to help at that point. I've taught online a lot, so I was just kind of like, oh, this will be fine. Like, I love online. Online's great. And then it like didn't turn out that way for a lot of teachers in schools. So that's why I was just like, I just need to get information out there and help. If you are not teaching online, which I'm assuming most of you probably aren't, there's still a lot in the book that is super relevant to you. I wanted to call out a couple chapters in particular. Chapter 12 is all about consistency and clarity. There's actually a ton of research, and it's cited in the book, some of the research, not all of it, but a ton of research about the importance of consistency and clarity with digital learning materials. And by that, I mean, like, I explain it, this idea of like creating routine, but in a digital space, right? We create all these routines in our physical classroom. You have to do the same thing with your digital materials. Whether you're teaching online, blended, hybrid, fully face-to-face, you need to be doing that. So there's a ton to take out of that chapter in terms of thinking about using naming conventions and how you organize your kind of, like, I call it your digital course home base, right? Like typically your learning management system, and even thinking about things like having a style guide with a color scheme and that kind of stuff. So that's chapter 12. And then chapter 13, Nikki actually wrote, I partnered with Montana PBS. It's all about supporting the grown-ups and caregivers in our kids' lives. It's very vital that you do that. It's like critical of virtual learning. But I think one great thing that came out of COVID was that we realized that we need to be engaging our caregivers more, right? So this chapter talks a lot about how to do that, make sure it's consistent. It really links up to chapter 12 and talking about that consistency and clarity, and thinking about making sure you're streamlining the communications to your parents, and not just in your classroom, but across your grade level and across your school. Because the reality is we have parents that probably have kids within multiple different grades with many different teachers. And if you're all communicating out in a different way, it's super overwhelming to those parents. So that chapter talks a lot about that. There are some other chapters that I know will be super relevant for you, even if you're not teaching full virtually, however it is you're teaching, but those two I wanted to call out. So,
all right.
yeah.
Well, thanks to everybody for joining us today. Thanks to Sarah for showing us all the cool things that Canva has. Thanks to Lindy for sharing your book, giving us a little bit more background on the prizes we've been handing out. We have our last Media Lab workshop coming up. It's not this next Monday. We're taking a Monday off. I have to go out of town with my family for this long weekend, and I won't be around on Monday, this coming up Monday. So our last Media Lab workshop will be August 1st. Tracy Piltz is going to be back, and she's going to talk about Write, Reader, and Book Creator. So I know you'll want to learn about that from her. She's got so many cool lessons and ideas connected with those two apps. We'll give away more books. We've got more copies of Lindy's book to give away and some other fun stuff. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.